What does it even mean to say that life is meaningful? What does it even mean to say that life is meaningless? To say that it's meaningful, usually you're incorporating a cosmic factor, a deity, an entity, an author, a witness, an observer. That's usually what people mean when they say life is meaningful or it has meaning. What's the meaning? There's some conclusion, some punchline, some clear-cut answer, some clear-cut destiny that is intended for a grander scheme of things because we're super important, because we matter more than everything else, because we're so significant, so profound. That's what I get from the perception that, not from the declaration that life is meaningful, that life has meaning. When someone says life has meaning, now don't get me wrong, I know that somebody who doesn't see it at all like that, you can have meaning in your life from not considering anything that's cosmic related, anything supernatural at all. Obviously, it could be super meaningful to you, just like with this one author, Richard Prum. He birdwatched for the majority of his life, and he found great fulfillment from it. And he analyzed the birds and took note of their complexity. He took note of how much beauty mattered to them and evolution's hand in that, and how beauty in his eyes is purely ornamental, and it exists for its own sake, and it doesn't have any utility outside of its just aesthetic appeal. But that was very meaningful for him. And I'm sure if you clean houses, that could be meaningful for you to help people. And I think it is. Seriously. Like, what a joke. What a fucking joke it is to look down upon a person who has some kind of job that's not glamorous, that doesn't pay well, but it provides such a contributive service. We need people to drive us places. We need people to clean. Somebody's got to fucking do it. Thank God people are willing to do it. So I guess that brings me to the yang of the yin, the viewpoint that it's all meaningless, like so many new age nihilistic people. A lot of people think it's meaningless. So like, what does it mean to say that it's all meaningless? I don't get that either, to say that it's meaningless, because even to the most seemingly indifferent, everything, it's bullshit when we act like stuff doesn't matter to us. Maybe some things don't matter to you that matters to other people, but something matters to you. Something, most assuredly, matters to you. If not, you'd probably be in jail. If nothing really mattered, you'd probably be dead because you offed yourself, or you'd be in jail because you would have done something indifferent to the consequences, and now you are somebody else's problem. But just because you believe things are meaningless doesn't even necessarily mean that you have law-breaking inclinations either. It could just be you just want to play video games and you want to screw men or women. and that's it. But even then, even if all you cared about was recreation and just providing yourself with the most simplistic security, most basic of income to fund your recreation, because you didn't care about anything else. But you still care about fun, though. You still care about enjoying yourself. So it's why to say that it's a meaning, like I guess you could say, I'm just wasting away. I'm just finding a way to, kind of like Modest Mouse says in one song, but it's more from a depressive sentiment. I'm trying, I'm trying to sleep away the part of the day that I cannot drink away. Polar opposites don't drift away, it's the same. Oh my God, I want to sing that entire song, but I won't. I'm being cognizant of you. I'm being cognizant of you. It'd be so self-indulgent for me just to go on a Modest Mouse singing extravaganza. God bless Modest Mouse, man. But I mean, I've felt that before. That I'm just trying to sleep away the part of the day that I cannot drink away. I've been there. Oh, yes, I've been there. But even then, it's because pain matters to you. It's because there's an internal discombobulation that you didn't quite ask for. Of course you don't want to feel like shit. That's what's funny. But back to the gamer, the meaningless, the gamer, the person, man or woman, who feels it's all meaningless and they just are just trying to pass the time. You're enjoying yourself, though. The reason why you've chosen games is because it's fun. And it's fun to you because it just is. You're not forcing, you're not asking the game to be fun. You're not playing the game and hoping that it'll be fun. It's just fun to you. So it matters to you. So it's important to you. There's meaning to it. Meaningless, meaningful. We are the makers of it. I've said it before. To me, that's evident. What's evident is that we are the creators of meaning. We are the destroyers of meaning. It is all up to us. Let me take another gulp of coffee right quick. It's like fucking 5 a.m. right now. I'm getting an early start in this mug. Man, I never thought I'd be a coffee drinker. If it was not for my damn brother Eric introducing me to coffee when I was 25. He either blessed my life or ruined my life. I'm not sure. My man Albert Camus has a good quote. He says, should I kill myself or have another cup of coffee? That speaks to the power of fucking coffee. That speaks to how rewarding it is for some of us. How it fucking taps into your reward circuitry and just takes over. It becomes important to you, meaningful to you. Eh? Eh? Oh man, I saw a clip from True Detective with the season 1. It just randomly popped up on my YouTube feed. Again, I'm battling my YouTube addiction. Another free trial popped up for. I did like last year. I did the ad free, and I did the free trial, and I said to myself, I'll just cancel it, and I didn't cancel it, and so I paid for it for about a few months. Averaged out to maybe like $60 or so. It's like $13 a month, $12 a month or something like that. But it was fucking amazing. Ad-free YouTube on the phone is fucking amazing. I mean, I've done ad-free on my computer with ad blocker. And I'm sure there's ad blockers for the phone as well. But I paid for it. I was trying to be a good boy. And You could, plus you could turn off your phone. I mean, not, close the screen out. It was fucking amazing, man. But at the time, my cash was running low. So I said, okay, I can't use this anymore. And it felt like hell going back to having ads. It felt like hell, which shows the relativity of it all. I wasn't even tripping about ads. I wasn't tripping about ads until I had the luxury of not having them. And then it was so difficult to have them reintroduced to my life. So the trial came up again, and I didn't do it because I know that it's gonna spoil the hell out of me, and I won't be able to fucking survive without the premium service. Why did I mention that? YouTube, feed, True Detective. True Detective. Man, Matthew McConaughey killed that fucking role of Royce Cole. But he was saying it was a scene when he was in the car, and they were driving. He was in the car with your boy Woody, and he was just he said, I think he had this line. He's a nihilist. He's a he's a pessimist. He calls himself. What else does he call him? A pessimist? I forgot the other term he applies to himself, but he says, I think we should reject our programming. He's talking about humans. He's like, I feel like the best thing for us to do is deny our programming and walk hand in hand into extinction. We deny our programming, stop reproducing, and walk into extinction. Yeah, it was so much more eloquent, well written. Another line I love from him in True Detective was he tells Woody Harrelson, because Woody Harrelson is telling McConaughey that to like knock it off with all his rhetoric and his musings. And his character replies, It's taken me too long to reconcile my nature to forego it on your account. And I was like, that's some real shit. And I might be getting that line kind of wrong, but that's how it's taken me much too long to reconcile my nature to forego it on your account. I think I am I have a nihilistic, I'm a conditional nihilist. I am a nihilist when we're not paying attention. And I'm a hopeful optimist when we are. Because I'm not, to say that I'm a nihilist, that wouldn't be appropriate because I have a lot of hope and belief and positive feelings towards existence itself, towards humans, if we are trying and if we're paying attention and if we're being thoughtful. But then I become nihilistic though when I see that we're all on autopilot, when we're all just going through the motions. We're not taking advantage of the luxuries we have. We're not really trying to get the most out of this life in the healthiest ways, and healthy meaning the most fulfilling with the least amount of consequences. When we're not really trying to build bridges, foster harmony, solve problems. When we're not trying to solve problems, I am nihilistic. I'm like, this is all so pointless. What a waste of fucking time for all of us. What a fucking waste of time. But when I'm with those that I love and care about, and communication is there and effort is there, I'm grateful. And I think that, and I feel meaning and profundity and spirituality and love. So it's very conditional. I could be a nihilist and I could be an optimist. It just depends. What an easy one size fits all ass answer, huh? Depends. It just fucking depends. But we are conditional. That's something that's overlooked, how conditional we are. I resent any of us acting as if it's our destiny to be any kind of way. That's where racism comes in. It's such a joke that racism still fucking exists, isn't it? You can't tell me that you haven't seen smart, sophisticated black people. You can't tell me that you haven't seen nice, understanding, empathetic white people. You can't tell me that you haven't seen horrible whites, horrible blacks, horrible Asians, horrible Indians. Indians also are in the Asian group. Yeah, I know. But the way we talk about it, we tend to separate that. There's people from each group that seem to be awesome, people from each group that seem to be fucking terrible, cultures themselves that seem to be awful, cultures with people with same color that differ that are amazing. Like, knock it off. Get the fuck out of here acting as if it's a genetic destiny for anyone to be one kind of way. Do we not have enough examples yet? Has the internet not enlightened you already? Like, even accidentally, has your preconceived notions about groups of people, have they not been affected by seeing the variety that's out there, by seeing so many people that break the mold, which has to destroy this notion. It's not even just a few where you can be like, those are rare. No, there's so many cases, man. Like, knock it off. You can still say that, hey, yeah, if I go into the heart of Mississippi in a certain white area, will I come across a bunch of racist ass white people? I don't doubt it at all. I'm gonna say in the heart of like fucking Southside Chicago or whatever, am I come across some black people that rob my ass and probably jump me or whatever? Yeah, probably. But also, are there not white people that exist that are the opposite of racist? Yeah. Are there not black people that exist that are the opposite of the quote unquote thuggery? Yeah. Is it culture? Is it nature or is it nurture? Is it fucking cultural? Is it a kind of momentum? Oh, that quote, that David Brooks quote. Man, I think I'm gonna owe David Brooks fucking royalties or something for as much as I quote this dude. If you haven't read that article, The Materialist Fallacy, it's really just that one article that's forever stuck with me. That's why I need to read more, because you never know what you're gonna come across. I just read it, and it's forever left an impression upon me, especially that one line where David Brooks said, and he's a conservative too, but he's a classic kind of old school conservative. But no matter how social disorganization starts, once it does start, it takes on a momentum of its own, magnifying disorder from one generation to the next. It takes on a momentum of its own, magnifying disorder from one generation to the next. Real shit. Has realer shit ever been spoken? That applies to everybody, man. Knock it off. By the way, I hate everyone too. I was thinking, because watching, because again, I have a YouTube addiction, and I'm not proud of it. What makes me feel better is that David Foster Wallace, an author, at least in the film anyway, the end of the tour, I believe, he was played by Jason Segel, and they had what's his name? Homeboy, Jesse Eisenberg, yeah. And he was talking about how he had a TV addiction. He was telling Jesse Eisenberg that he had a TV addiction. David Foster Wallace was the character anyway. And I don't doubt that it's true, that I haven't seen no reason why it would be fabricated. But my point is, I think a lot of people probably, if they hear him or anyone else say that I have a TV addiction, I think it's one of those kinds of addictions that I think is immediately trivialized in the average American's interpretation of what addiction is. Similar to when a man says that they have a sex addiction, I would see it in the past. I don't hear so much about it anymore, but in the past, I'd hear people respond to sex addiction, especially men. They would trivialize it by saying, is it really an addiction or is it just, Bill Maher's one of the people who said this too, is it really an addiction or is it just kind of like just too much good fortune or something like that, Because it's kind of like, how can you say you're addicted to sex? Like, you're just getting a lot of ass, good job. But people forget what addiction, just like what David Foster Wallace saying he's addicted to watching television. We forget what addiction is, like what it is at its at bottom, and it's pursuing a stimulation. It's engaging with something, despite that something having a significant negative consequence upon your life. So whether it's sex or watching television, watching YouTube, whatever, it's addiction when it starts to deteriorate other aspects of your life and you feel helpless to do anything about it. You feel as if you aren't in control. It has such power over you that you are forsaking other components, other factors of your life. And so I felt David Foster Wallace when he said that he was addicted to television. He already has a TV addiction. I get that because he wanted to write, and it was destroying that effort. And also, I'm sure it was destroying other things. Addiction destroys something. Addiction is hurting something. It's hurting things. If it's not hurting stuff, then we should not be calling it addiction. Or we should be qualifying it as like, I have a healthy addiction, meaning it's something that I constantly do. I'm constantly engaged in, but there's way more benefit than consequences. And the consequences are very insignificant, if there are any. But I mentioned that because I was watching this clip. Damn. What was the clip that I wanted to mention? I don't remember now. That's the problem with my tangential ways. I was going to say, it was this interview. Damn. I don't recall anymore. That sucks. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. It's left my brain. I guess all I can do is be true, huh? Just be true. I still am not as honest as I'd like to be. I mean, I'm honest with myself, but there's so much I'd like to say on here that might be crass that I can't say. Might be too crass. I don't want to be. I still worry about offending. I still worry about making people uncomfortable. I guess I'm talking about sex. I fucking love fucking. Yeah, I said it. It's very inspirational. It's very, very inspirational. It's very rewarding. It's very fulfilling. It's very healing. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, let me stop. I guess I've lost let me put my glasses on right quick. You're going to hear tape because I have tape on the armor of my glasses. How long have I been talking? 29? That's not too shabby. It's not too shabby at all. Let's end it here then, huh? This was just me just hollering y'all for a second. I hope that y'all have a good day. I hope that good night, whatever time it is for you. And just remember that it's all transient. Yeah, remember that no matter how good it is, it's temporary. No matter how bad it is, it's temporary. Know that if you have the good fortune of not having any too debilitating of disease or internal dysfunction, there's opportunity for us to grow. There's opportunity for us to become better, Get your rest. Get your nourishment. Try to acquire discipline. That's one of the things that I'm trying to do at this moment, is trying to be more disciplined again. I want to be fucking disciplined because I've had enough of just. I'm not gonna even. I don't want to say I had enough of fucking around, and I wouldn't even say that the past 5 years of my life even have been fucking around. It's just I'm being hard on myself because I need to be harder on myself. Because unfortunately, I have one of those brains that if I'm not placing extreme pressure upon me, if I'm not being hard on myself at times, then I won't get shit done. I have goals. I might as well try to achieve these goals, but I don't want to destroy myself either, though. I don't want to be resentful or bitter towards existence. It's a tightrope. It's a balancing act. It's each of our own personal journeys. I hope that we can all be, not even fuck being the people we want. I hope we all just continue to make efforts to be the people we'd like to be, to achieve the goals we like to achieve. If you happen to achieve the goal, good. If you don't, good. But one thing that I think we could be proud of is our efforts. We could be certain of is our efforts. Be honest, be a student. That's another thing. Becoming the student again. I gotta always remember, because sometimes it feels as if you know what the fuck you're talking about and you have the certainty, but that's the other thing I wanted to mention. How I know I was about to leave and shit. How I realized that I was in deep meditation the other day. Deep meditation. And I realized that fear has been informing my behavior way more than I realized. Fear. Like a lot of what I was doing was fear-based. And that's not going to bring out my best. That might bring out cold, hard, mechanical productivity. But fuck that. Save fear for the actual circumstances where fear is required. I have the luxury of not needing to be fearful, but just being wholesome and just putting maximum effort. It would be different if we lived in a fucking war-torn country, or if I was in an environment where I truly needed to fear for my life, or if I was under these circumstances where fear made sense. And fear makes sense, and often makes sense, but a lot of times, sometimes certain feelings, whether it's fear or love or anger, hatred, sometimes, going back to that motherfucking David Brooks quote, just like how social disorganization can take on a momentum of its own, sometimes feelings can take on a momentum of their own, and often, and the one that we put emphasis on oftentimes is love. But don't forget about all the other feelings that exist. Like fear, I think, has been running my life for these past years, and it's made. There's a reason for that. I haven't been fully explanatory and transparent about some of the things going on in my world. Fear has made sense. My back has been against the wall, but it's time to let go of it. It's time to let go of that shit, man. I don't need to be fearful right now. I just don't need to. It's not necessary. It's just obstructive at this point. But it took deep meditation for me to realize that. All right. Let's end it on that. Hey, I love y'all, man. I fucking love y'all. All right. Peace out, y'all.